Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in for some more lawn inspiration. Today we're going to talk about something that's kind of fun. It's a cool concoction that you can put on your lawn. Some people might call it lawn tea or garden tea or compost tea or worm casting tea. Regardless, this is tea for the grass and not for ye. So don't drink it. This is specifically for your lawn or garden if that's what you're into. But this is something that's pretty cool. I saw this on a video from the Lawn Mentor and all, huge shout out to him for sharing that. All right, and I do have a quick correction. When I was initially making the concoction here, I referred to the Lawn Mentor as where I got the inspiration for this lawn tea. It was actually the Turf and Stem channel. So wanted to correct that, make sure you give credit where due. I do really like the videos by the Lawn Mentor, but also from Turf and Stem. I just got them mixed up. So anyway, it was Turf and Stem that put out this video. And again, I'll link to that one so you can check it out. Anyway, the key star in this is basically compost or worm castings. I'm doing worm castings, and I'll link to the different products I use in this so you can get it yourself. But it's one of the nice things is to put it in one of these bags like this that seal or cinch closed. And I'm doing 2 of those as kind of the main star of this, or the main ingredient, as well as some other stuff I'll show you here in a second. So to start with the lawn tea, basically what I always do is you get a 5-gallon bucket, or a pretty good sized bucket like this. It's a good idea to have a bucket that you know isn't going to have any harmful chemicals in it. So this is one that I basically just use for this sort of thing. There's not going to be anything that could potentially damage the grass or hurt any plants or wildlife. I do fill it about halfway full, and that just kind of gives all the different concoction of things a good base to work with, or to basically all dilute into. First of all, again, we have our bags of worm castings, and that will go in last. And I'll just kind of walk through some of the different things I'm going to be adding to this. So I do have my scale here so I can measure the different things. We'll get to this guy here in a bit. Just going to put this on here. Zero it out. Give everything a good shake. So first of all, I'm going to start with microgreen. So with this guy, it's a lot of micronutrients, obviously. It's about 4 to 8 ounces per 1,000 square feet. So I'll just measure that out. And because I'm doing a mix of a bunch of different things, I'm going to go a little bit lighter on the measurements on this. So that goes in. Okay. I do want to get some nitrogen on the lawn. It's looking a little bit anemic and a little bit light, so I'm going to do this, and I'll add some iron as well. So with this one, it's about 12 ounces per 1,000. Watching this yellow jacket close to me because I am allergic to bees, so that's a little disconcerting. All right. That's a good amount. Put that in. All right. Gonna do some iron as well. So this one is 4 to 8 ounces per 1,000. Forgot to give it a shake. There we go. Cool. All right. Iron. All right, aside from that, I also, this time of year, I especially like to add some liquid kelp to the lawn. It smells terrible, but it'll really help strengthen the plant, or give the plant that added boost, and really helps with root growth and taking in nutrients, especially during the summer months. It smells like a rotten fish tank, but it really does a good job. There's that. What else we got here? Humic acid. Again, this is more for the soil health, to help the plant. then next time, do this again. Okay. And then lastly, on the liquids, I'm going to be adding some molasses. And with this one, it really helps encourage breakdown of some of the organic materials, get that back into the soil. So it's a really good thing to add. Don't add too much, usually about 6 to 8 ounces overall just for my bucket. We'll have to rinse this out. Yeah, we'll be doing that. Aside from that, I like to add feature as well. I've had a lot of good luck with that with this year. So this one goes down at a rate of 2 ounces per 1,000 square feet. So just have my little scoop. It's about 2.5. Four, 6.5. We'll do a bit more. There we go. Cool. All right, so it's all in there. All right, so there's one thing I forgot to put in the lawn tea that we're going to add right now. It's one of my favorite things. Hopefully it's one of your favorite things too. A nice beer. All right, so we're just going to dump this in here and let it do its thing. Enjoy. Yummy. All right, so once you have everything in the bucket and I topped it off with a little bit more water, you want to leave about 1/3 of it empty. And the reason for this is as the tea is brewing, so to speak, it'll start to foam up a little bit. And part of that will have to do with the aerator that we'll put in there, and I'll show you what I mean here in just a minute. But I do want to give this a good mix just to make sure that everything is all incorporated, including the molasses, because that's obviously a lot thicker. But want to give it a good mix. And a lot of this will be taken care of as it brews. It'll continue to mix and things like that. It's a lot of fun actually watching this all mix together. Kind of therapeutic in a weird way. Again, maybe that's part of the lawn inspiration, is finding that peace and happiness in whatever you're doing. And so this is just kind of a fun part. Kind of makes you feel like you're an evil scientist or something. All right, so then you just have your tea bags essentially of compost, or in my case, I'm doing worm castings. What I'm going to do is actually just tie these off, and you'll see why here in a second, because I'm just going to fasten them to the side of the bucket with this zip tie. So I'm just going to do a little knot, same thing as my other one. The nice thing with these is you can reuse them as well. So you can, once it's done, you can empty out the compost or the worm castings, use that in your garden, or if you have a problem spot where you need to just do a little bit of extra seeding, you can do that. So I'll just take the bags of worm castings. I'm going to slip a zip tie through that, probably the biggest zip tie I could ever find. I didn't need one that big. And I'm just going to attach them to the bucket. So they kind of stay together. Not critical, but you know, one of those things that's good to do. Okay, and lastly, now that everything's all together, you see we have the bucket of the concoction here. I'll just turn my head around so you can see my face. So you have the concoction here, and then what you need is you need a spot that's not ideally in the sunlight, so it can be in the shade. You probably don't want to do this inside because it does kind of have a smell to it, but you want to get one of these fish tank aerators. So it has this bubbler stone, or this thing on the end that's kind of porous, that goes in the bucket, ideally toward the bottom. And then you just need to plug this in. I'm going to move it a little bit over. You want it in a spot also that's obviously going to not fall over while it's going. I'm just going to plug it in, and we'll see if you can see that. So you can see that the aerator is bubbling it up. And we'll check back on it a little bit. but it's a good idea to keep this going for a couple of days like that, just brewing and doing its thing. And essentially what it's going to do is extract all the nutrients and stuff from the worm castings of the compost and kind of make it all bubbly and happy with all the other things you put in there. All right, we're just going to do a quick check-in on the worm casting tea that we got. So just checking this out. Looks like it's bubbling and doing its thing. Looking good. It's been about 24 hours, so we'll let this go for another 24 hours. We'll be ready to put on the lawn. All right, everybody, it's now August 14th. It's been about 48 hours since I made the compost tea, so we're ready to use it. It's getting a little bit hot outside, so now I'm wearing my goofy hat. But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do to stay not sunburned, to stay a little bit cool. Ironically, you are not cool if you try to stay cool wearing this. But anyway, I'm gonna be putting together the compost tea into my backpack sprayer and we'll spray it out. Okay, so like I said, it's been about 48 hours and the tea is done doing its thing. So if you take a look at the tea bags here of worm castings, they've given what they need to do. So I'm just gonna let those drain a little bit while I mix it up. Okay, everything's pretty well combined now. Just give it a squeeze. All right, so before putting in your backpack sprayer, it's really important to filter it out. So basically what I'm going to do here is I only have the smaller bucket, so I'm going to have to do a couple batches. But you just use like a paint strainer like this. Pour it through. This will catch most of the big debris that shouldn't be going through your backpack sprayer. Alright. And so for my backpack sprayer, I use this Flow Zone Typhoon 2.5. I've really been loving it. I ended up going with this after seeing the review from the Pest and Lawn Jinja and some others, and really liked it. I actually bought this one refurbished, which has worked out really great. So actually a huge shout out to Flow Zone. I've had a couple of minor issues here and there, and their customer service is really top notch, so highly recommend the Flow Zone. A little bit of spillage, not too bad. Okay, we'll do another round of filter just to finish this out. And like most things, this is going to go on at about a gallon per 1,000 square feet. Put those guys back in there. It's good to have the filter again, because you see all this debris that was in the tank or in the tea. So you're left with just the liquid that you want. Okay, so I'm going to be spraying this on the lawn. It's going to be going out again at a rate of about a gallon for every 1,000 square feet. I do this as a foliar application, so you can have a couple different spray tips on your spray nozzle, and I usually default to foliar when in doubt. It's a good idea also to let this sit on the grass and leave it from being watered in for about 4 hours, and then you can water it in after that. That just gives the grass enough time to try to take in the nutrients before you water it into the ground level. Cool, so let's go ahead and do it.